Steve Brine.
Briefly, Madam Chair, thank you very much for letting me come in, and for the Honourable Lady for Bath for letting me make a brief contribution. I'm just speaking with two hats on today. As a Conservative MP, of course, I'm very proud of the work that the government has done in supporting young families through the 30 hours entitlement. It's a landmark commitment, it's one that I fully support, but it has had perhaps some unintended consequences. The second, as the Honourable Lady for Bath says, as Chair of the All-Party Group on Childcare and Early Education. We represent the private, voluntary and independent nurseries who make up the vast majority of the early years sector. But I also sit on the All-Party Group for maintained nurseries, which are often overlooked in this debate and are also important. The Minister today will rightly highlight the government's put in place a significant package for parents and early years educators. It has. However, despite this, there's still significant shortfalls in funding. Data from the Early Years Alliance tells me that there's a gap of £2.60 per child per hour for every 30 hours placed. This is just under £3,000 per child per year. So our all-party group is calling on the Treasury and the DfE to fully fund all 30 hours places. I would repeat the call for the catch-up premium for the early years sector in the CSR. There's also a chance, though, when we do this, to address wider issues in the early years funding system. The FOI request that the Honourable Lady referred to from the NDNA around the underspends in local authority, which we think totals around £62 million. This shows that money is not getting to where it is most needed. So tens of millions of pounds is potentially could fund the 30 hours places for 20,000 children under our proposed catch-up premium. Treasury and the Department need to look into that underspend, pull it back. That's why we're asking for this meaningful review of early years funding. That would include a multi-year funding settlement to allow providers some certainty and some planning over the coming years. And of course, more funding for the sector would of course be welcome, but my point in closing will be that we cannot pour water into broken plumbing. The failings of the system are already being felt. Repeat the point made that 35% of nursery closures between April 2020 and March 2021, that's increased by 35%. They're coming out the sector. It's a worry. So I'm proud of the work we've done on 30 hours. Emerging from the pandemic, we need our early years sector, our fourth emergency service more than ever. Let me just close with this. The exception to lockdown by stealth that we are seeing courtesy of the ping, that must end for all of us, and apparently it will, on the 16th of August. But it most certainly must end by exception for the early years sector, which once again feels that it's been left out. And I know the government said yesterday they're not going to produce a list, they'll deal with it on a case-by-case basis. Today is an opportunity for the government to deal with early years case on that basis. So I look forward very much to hearing from the Minister, and I know she's got plenty of time to talk to us. Thank you, Chair.
The question is that this House has considered early